Good day, everyone. We are the BSHM third year students, and we will be presenting the data preparation process. Our goal is to show you how we collected, organized, cleaned, and analyzed the data to ensure its accuracy and reliability. The data collected was sourced from the internet. It is a raw data that focuses on the financial result of a company in the year 2012. The data contains different fields such as account, business unit, currency, year, scenario, and the months of the year. We choose this data because as BSHM students, understanding financial data is important because it helps in managing businesses like hotels and restaurants. We chose this data because it teaches us how to organize and analyze data to make better decisions. And by ensuring the data is accurate and free from errors, we can improve businesses' operations and provide better service in the hospitality industry. After collecting this data, Ms. Jackie Fuentes has profiled the data and will explain the process.
So after collecting the data, in order for it to be fully prepared, proper profiling is needed to give the general idea of how all of the data has come together. So first is we go to data, then we access from table range, then we close and load, and this will make the data be presented as a table. So after that, we go to data again and access the from table range. So, but this time we rewrite the formula as table that formula open parenthesis number table 3 close parenthesis. So here, the data that has already been profiled, and as you can see here, in the leftmost column, it has all the column listed down, followed by the minimum, which lists down the lowest financial statement of the month, and the maximum entails the highest sales done in the month. So then, the average after which is the standard deviation, the count, or the number of rows of data, the null count, and lastly, the distinct count. So now that the data is profiled, Ms. Kylie Lagrosas will further explain how they will clean the data or how she will clean the data.
After the data has been profiled, it's time to remove any irrelevant, incomplete, redundant, or irregular entries in the dataset. But since there aren't any null present in the data, we can proceed in spell checking to see if there are any misspelled words present. To do this, we have to go to Review, then click Spelling. If there are any misspelled words, this will detect and will let us change it to the proper spelling. This is also the time where we can organize the profiling of the dataset, like making sure the months are in order. Now that the dataset is organized, Maynard Jin will discuss if the data presented have outliers.
Now that the data has been thoroughly checked for inconsistencies and discrepancies, it is time to check for outliers. An outlier is an extremely high or extremely low data point relative to the nearest data point, and the rest of the neighboring coexisting values in a data graph or the data set we're currently working with. So, how do we determine this? By using the IQR or interquartile method or the box plot approach, first is we have to find the first and third quartile by using the formula equal to the quartile, E7 to E15, 1 for the first quartile, and the formula equals quartile, E7 to E15, 3 for the third quartile. After getting their values, we must find the interquartile range or IQR, a key of statistical dispersion. by subtracting the third quartile to the first quartile. Now that the values are present, we can now proceed to finding the outlier boundaries, the upper bound and the lower bound, to determine if the month in the data is an outlier. Firstly, the upper bound using the formula equals to Q, the third quartile or Q3, plus 1.5 multiplied by the interquartile range, and the data that goes beyond this value is an outlier. Now that the upper bound is done, we continue to the lower bound. And to do this, we must use the same formula, but instead we put Q3 instead of Q1, and instead of adding, we subtract it to the 1.5 multiplied to the IQR, and the data lower than the value is an outlier. Now that the values of the upper and lower bound are determined, let us use these values to discover if the data is an outlier. To do this, we have to use the standard deviation, as it helps us understand how much the data deviates from the average value. Using the conditional formula OR, we write it as OR, the month, the standard deviation for the month, greater than the upper bound, comma, the standard deviation for the month, less than the lower bound, and this will hopefully determine if the data is an outlier. And as you can see, we don't have any outlier in the data set, which means this data set is ready for validation. And now we go to Miss Abeliar for the conclusion.
By following the steps of data collection, profiling, cleansing, and outlier detection, we ensured the dataset's accuracy and reliability. Profiling provided insights into K-metrics, by cleansing removed inconsistency. So using the IQR method and standard deviation, we identified potential outliers, which may indicate anomalies or significant financial events. So this structured approach enhances data integrity, supporting better financial analysis and decision making. So now that we finished analyzing the dataset, we can confidently conclude that our data is clean, reliable, and free from outliers. This ensures that any insights derived from it are accurate and valuable for financial decision making. With a structured approach to data validation, we enhance the integrity and effectiveness of our analysis.
The challenge that we faced while preparing this data was primarily in formulating the problems and ensuring that the formulas were applied correctly. Since accuracy is crucial, even a small mistake in inputting the formula could lead to incorrect results, making the entire dataset unreliable. We had to be meticulous in every step, carefully verifying each calculation to prevent errors that could affect the overall analysis. This required a lot of attention to detail and double-checking to ensure that the data remained consistent and accurate throughout the process. I am Maynard Lee Chin.
I am Emeline Q. Abeliar.
I am Kylie Charm A. Lagrosas.
I am Jacqueline Cifuentes.
And I am Don Adelea Pipa Bingwit, and that concludes our presentation.